Right, we are live again. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. So, yeah, I deleted the first test video. And for good reason is because I may have accidentally taught something that I should have not. Particularly to the introduction, particularly during the introduction of the video, of the live video. So, um, I mean, I hope you guys don't mind. But at the same time, I need to redo all the settings for OBS again. Luckily, however, it's more towards the output side of things, not the input. So, input, at least everything is working, I hope. But of course, I'll have to listen to myself again once this video is done. For now, okay. Anyways, I will focus more on the game side of things, but of course, I'll just say what happened, what I did with the computer, and what's the learning experience, okay, at the very least. So, so as mentioned, I did have hands-on on building this PC, but only for half of it. And why half of it, right? Okay, so what I did hands-on on right so far, right, is the motherboard. Okay, so everything in the so the CPU installation, the cooler installation, the fan installations, all the fans is installed by me. And also the hard disk drive and the power supply. But the wiring and this kind of stuff, right, is still handled by my contacts. Why contacts? Because it's the husband and wife combo. So uncle and auntie okay, they have 30 plus years of experience working with computers. So basically, so they are around since like the very first Windows. So I wasn't even born then. They are like what 1980s? Yeah, they're somewhere in the 1980s. So they have tons of experience. So yeah, so according to the contact's husband, because the husband is the one who did all the PC work, while the contact herself, she did a bit of PC work, but 80% she does is more of the buying of components from the distributors. So he said that the uncle, he said that I'm cursed with butterfingers. So he says that it's better that I don't touch expensive components. So you know, the 5090 and everything like that. That is he did it for me, and also the wiring. So greatly appreciated for that. And of course, I did the software side of things. So making sure the software works and everything like that. But of course, alas, as I mentioned, BTuber Studio wasn't working well. BTuber Studio, apparently the NVIDIA broadcast, which is what I usually use, does not want to recognize it. So I have to use the beta driver. And you can see that it's like super sensitive for some reason. So that is the drawback of the beta driver. But luckily, however, I managed to tweak. I spent like 3 hours last night trying to tweak the settings, and then I was like, okay, finally it's a bit more palatable. And then I go play 2 rounds of Marble Rivals. Then I went to sleep. By then it's like what 1 to 2 a.m. Okay lah. But the thing is that so far before I delete it, all the games are working fine. Except for not Marble Rival, except for Monster Hunter Wilds when I was trying to fight Temple G Dahad. So when it is doing its Nova attack, it decided to crash. So, yeesh. Okay, right. So the test right now I'm going to do right now is making sure that OBS actually works. So as mentioned in the title, I'm going to make sure OBS works. So to do that, I need to make sure it can actually. So I have to play. So what happened was that during the test, when I play 120 frames per second, be it on the benchmark or on the video game, the OBS decided to add out and say that it's not able to send in the bitrate and encode good enough. And then when I found out, right, it says that the encoder that I'm using, right, has depreciated, which means that it is no longer in use. And I was in shock. I was like, come on, AB1 was so new, how can it be no longer in use? And then when I found out, oh, it's because it's tied to my 4090. So that means it's something that I should have checked earlier before I even started the stream. So I did the setting again. Then apparently when I set it right, all the settings for the output just got wiped. So I need to check all the everything and just to keep it running again. So I hope that it works. So it's to the is back to what I used to have, but the wording is completely different. So like for instance, right, in the output, right, underneath profile, right, it should be look ahead and cycle tuning. Okay, it's no longer called cycle tuning. It's called adaptive quantization. I have no idea what that means, but otherwise it is the same thing because the description is the same. And it does say there previously called, formerly called cycle visual tuning. Then the other one is still the same. Still the same. Okay. Anyways, what I also did right is that I bump up the bitrate to 35,000 kilobytes per second or 35 megabytes per second. That was like 15 more than what I usually do. I mean, like, because according to the settings, right, is that AB1, right, the maximum is only 40 megabytes per second, so I cannot go beyond that. Otherwise, things go YouTube won't recognize it anyway. Right. Okay, here we go. Now we will go to the settings. Okay. So to make sure that the test is as constant as possible, right? What I'm going to do, right, is that frame rate cap is going to be 120 because and there is no frame generation. Okay, frame generation is off. Yes, I know it's in Chinese. I have no idea why this has to be a bug. So frame generation is turned off. Okay, let me get the settings screen out of the way. Okay, so frame generation is turned off. And this is low latency mode. Okay, so it's also turned off. So this definitely, right, the developers must be in a hurry or something. Okay, so yeah, ray tracing is turned off. Everything else is on high. Everything is high except for the global illumination. Super resolution I have bumped up from ultra performance to balanced. Okay. Here we go. Let's run the benchmark. And now I will have to see both OBS and my smartphone, right? My old smartphone, right? Which is a 4K screen smartphone, to make sure that both actually works properly. Okay, no error message so far on my OBS, but my because there's latency right now on my phone, because it's on normal latency mode. Otherwise, you guys can't see 4K. I can't upload at 4K at all. Okay, let me bring it closer to my eyes. At least I can see better. My phone is also at 4K now, by the way. Because I'm using an Xperia. My old smartphone that I use for this is the Xperia 2 Premium, Xperia SZ2 Premium. So it has a 4K screen by default. So I can actually bump it up to 4K at the cost of internet. So let me ensure that. Okay, it's actually pretty smooth on my end because my this screen can go 4K 60. It is as smooth as it is actually quite smooth, quite pretty even on my screen, on my phone screen, and also it looks pretty much the same as the one on my monitor. My monitor is even better because it's OLED, whereas this one is LCD. But this is the last generation, what you call the high resolution LCD. So for a smartphone. Okay, no encoding errors. It is still super smooth on my phone. Alright. Okay, so I can say this is the absolute absolute win. It's working well. Okay, good. Alright, looks like the setting works. Alright, I need to credit the dude at the YouTube channel. He really saved my bacon. Because I can't find my old settings, the what you call it, the video that I used to refer to. 190 frames per second average. Oh, it did drop quite a bit. The VRAM use actually went down. Interesting. Okay, confirm. You know what that means? I can actually now try it with ray tracing. Because back then I need to cancel it because of the encoding issue. Then that means I can also finally try the benchmark with the Monster Hunter Wilds. Okay, right. Which is something I didn't do also lah. So okay, so we'll bump down to ultra performance again. But this time we'll put ray tracing on at very high. So this is cinematic levels. Then global illumination we'll just put high also to ensure that the lighting is constant. Oops. Ah crap. High. This will be cinematic. This will be very high. Everything else is at high. Okay, so apply graphic changes. Yes, thank you. Okay, controller. My controller is Type B. Thank you very much because it is a DualSense. Okay, now we need to close and open the game because that is how it works. You want ray tracing, you quit and you go back in. I also had to do something about the Monster Hunter Wilds later. Okay, now I will start the game again. So far, no drop frames, which is good. And I didn't turn on my AC, so it's actually getting a little toasty in here. Fortunately, the GPU isn't running at full steam, which is surprising. At this point, the GPU should be running at full steam. So which means it's actually quite optimized. The more optimized the game, right, the less resources you use to run it. And it has to run it properly. Okay. We're still staying at ultra performance first. But right now we are at full ray tracing at high everything else. Okay, let's run the benchmark. Let's go. This will be even harder for the bitrate. Ray tracing is way harder for the bitrate. So let's see how it goes. If this works right, that means I know the settings ready. Then I'll be ready for the Blossomdance Festival tomorrow for the Monster Hunter Wilds. Alright, here we go. Lot of grainy. The water a lot of grain, so that's the problem about ultra performance in ray tracing. That's why I feel. That's why in the previous stream that I deleted, right, on the test, right, I did say that encoding overloaded. We have an encoding overloaded message already. Okay, time to check on my phone. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, got the exit. Yep, that's what I'm afraid of. That is exactly what I'm afraid of. So, yeah, little too strong. So ray tracing is a little too strong. Then like that, fight scenes and this kind of stuff might be a little too serious there. Okay, we'll try again, but this time they say that what I can do, right, is disable cycle tuning. So what I would, which is what they call it now is adaptive optimization. So I need to turn that off. I press apply. Okay. Now that the cycle tuning has turned off, let's run the benchmark again. Okay, it's getting a little too toasty already. I need the AC. Okay, never mind. The error overload message came back. Okay, that is a problem. That is an absolute problem. Ray tracing is too much for. Okay, it seems that ray tracing is too much for OBS at the moment. Either it's too much for OBS, right, or my bitrate is not high enough. But I think it's the latter. Ray tracing is just too much for OBS at the moment when it comes to streaming. So, okay, that is an issue because here's the thing, huh? The router I'm using right now, right? Because it's a shared router within the family, right? I have no access to 5G. I'm stuck with 2.5G. So my and as mentioned, it is shared within the family, so I cannot exceed a certain. I already it's already at 35 already. I can let me see how high I can go. Give me a moment. YouTube is not receiving enough video to as such video. Yeah, that's the error message I got. So this is an issue. Okay, now let me go check. I still have history from the last one. There we go. Choose encoder bit rates and this one. Okay. All streams will be optimized for quality and set to normal latency. Okay. Right, here we go. Recommended bitrate setting for H.264 is 35 megabytes per second. Mine is really at 35. Maximum bitrate setting for AB1 is 40 megabytes. I am at 35. Okay, I'm streaming at 4K 60, so I am already at 35. The thing is that the reason why I feel that I don't want to dump it, the thing is that if I want to have maximum okay, the thing is that because if I want to have maximum communication with each other, right? Of course 1440p would be great. Then I can drop it down to 30. Then I can not only it will be easier for me to stream to you guys, right? But it will be less heavy for the internet. However, I don't know whether you guys will like the quality or not because the last time I did the poll, right, 4K streaming is the only boat so far that says they want it. So that's the thing. I am considering, right, to drop it to 1440p, right, so that I can give you guys see ray tracing. But is it worth it? That's the question. Is it worth it? I have no clue. But at the current juncture, and because of that, I can even do HDR. I can do HDR gameplay for you guys to watch. So that would be even better. However, as mentioned, okay, not but of course again about regarding HDR, the last time I mentioned, right? Not all games support HDR. Not all games support HDR. So those AAA titles, yes, they support HDR. However, the HDR is not great either. It's pretty much just making there is true HDR that is like color gamut and this kind of stuff. Capcom and the guys that did Black Myth Wukong, they know how to do HDR properly because they know how to sort out the colors because it's pretty much the color the thing. But when it comes to other cheapo games, right, Ubisoft, I'm looking at you. They just crank the contrast out to maximum and then they call that HDR. Sorry, for me, if you crank it out like that, it is not HDR. Okay. Constant bit rate. Okay, I need to look at my settings again. Okay, constant bit rate, which is CBR. Mine is at 35 megabytes per second. Keyframe is set at 2. Preset is P6. Maybe I drop it down to P5. And tuning is high quality. Because no choice, because that's 4K. Multi-pass. They don't really say much about multi-pass. B-frame. Keyframe, which is B-frame. Keyframe is at 2 seconds, which is correct. Audio codec, no change. Okay. So I dropped the preset to from P6 to P5. Okay. Let's give that a try one more time. Because that's the only thing I changed that is different from the YouTuber that showed the settings. Because he okay, so let's give it a try again. Let's run the benchmark. Looking at the okay, never mind, it came back. Yeah, sorry. That thing came back. So that means ray tracing is a no-go. Ray tracing is a no-go. Okay, so I'll try again, but this time I will. Okay, apply. Okay, so ray tracing is a no-go. Ray tracing is a no-go. Okay, let me double check the video I watched first before I continue. Give me a couple of seconds and I also will be muting the desktop beat muting the volume so that at least I won't get infringement. Yeah, do expect more do expect me to sorry do expect me to fiddle around for quite a while. Okay, now I want to know is that because the thing is that they say AB1 is better, but it's H.264 versus AB1. What's the you see AB1 is a new coder that generally offers significantly better compression efficiency than H.264. Because currently I'm using AB1 because I keep reading that it's better. Oh, encoding speed is slower request. Oh, okay. Supported decoding complexity lower. Licensing fee apply for commercial. Excellent for bendy seeding. Oh, good, but loses quality a bit. Lower bit rate. Okay. So the thing is that I'm still better stick with AB1 is because AB1 will give you guys better high definition in 4K resolution while I don't need to give you I don't need to put so much bit rate. Okay, but the thing is that why is it okay? Now the question. Now I need to find out how to, because of the lag. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so they say that maybe my bit rate is too high. Huh. Bit rate is too high. Interesting. Okay. Then if that's the case, I'll dump it down to 25 megabytes per second then. But minimum for minimum bit rate is 10 megabytes per second for 4K. For AB1, for AB1 and H265, minimum is 10. So I am, because I went to 20 back then, because that is twice of the minimum. But the recommended bit rate for H264 is 35. Okay. Right, let's try again then. So let's go back to the game. Okay. 20,000 bit rate. Cycle tuning slash adaptive quantization is turned on. And I'll go back to my game screen first. So I press OK. Go back to the game screen again. Okay. Once we solve this encoding issue, right, we are golden. Because a lot of games I play is at 120 frames per second, Warframe included. Hey, I press load only for what? Okay. Let's see. Display. There's okay. This one we bump up to performance mode. Blah 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 blah. Run benchmark. Checking. Okay, because the thing is that the encoding error came when it is on the loading screen. So far there is nothing, which is good. Okay, no encoding error so far. Waiting for my phone because normal latency means I am 30 seconds behind. My phone is also at 4K. At 4K 60 frames per second. My phone is getting really, really toasty. But nothing it's a 4000 milliamp battery can handle. Can't handle, I mean. Okay. Actually, looks not so bad, actually, to be honest. Okay, I better press alternate R because I also am interested to see what my what the GPU temperature is. Okay, GPU utilization is at 84% right now. Okay. CPU utilization at 45. Phone has no issues, no encoding error reported on OBS. Okay. So far, so good. Everything seems to be running smooth. No latency issue on the phone so far. No stuttering. Okay, even my mouse on the screen on the YouTube screen is actually working well. Okay, so yeah. So apparently, ray tracing is just too much for even for AB1. Yeesh. Okay. Super resolution is on 25. It still says it's on 25. Okay. Let's bump up the quality, shall we? So I don't know why it keeps going back to. Says I think I have. Oh yeah, because I didn't press apply. Okay. So never mind. We'll stick it to 25. Because that would be a good benchmark. We will put to this one again. Then we return, apply. Now we need to quit the damn game again. Quit the desktop. Okay, here we go. Now for the real test. Okay, now for the real test. Just now I forgot to unmute, but it's okay because we don't really need to listen to the water anyway. Okay, now we are going back to ray tracing mode. Now we just need to wait for the game to fully shut down while applying the settings. But it's taking its own sweet time. Okay, myself also turn off my wallpaper engine. I forgot to turn that off. Okay, it's not stopping for some reason. It's still stuck. Batman Focon has officially stopped working. Okay, good. Here we go. Alright. I guess the game doesn't like being launched back and forth like crazy. So okay, here we go again. Running Black Myth Foucault multiple times, opening and closing it. Feels like I am stress testing for the developers. Okay, settings. Display. Okay, DLSS is at performance, ultra performance. Ray tracing is at the highest level possible. Everything else is on high. Let's do this. Fingers crossed. We are loading. We are loading. No encoder error message yet. No error encoder message. Oh shit, it is here. It's here. Okay, encoder messages came. So we have to stop. Okay. But it came quite late. Instead of okay, good news. Encoder message came after the loading screen. We are getting there. But also not good. Not good at all. But that also means that if I'm going to play at high frame rates at 240 frames per second, like those competitive games, it's going to be troublesome if I were to stream it. That means I have to bump down the quality. But they did say that 4K streaming is not for the faint-hearted after all, so I don't know whether it actually affected the last streams before that. If that's the case, right, then that means I need to bump everything down from there on to 1440p. I mean, I just need to rescale it to 1440p. Like, it's not. Then I can put low latency mode. Then at least interaction with you guys will be immediate. So it'll be better that way. But also means that I can actually, but of course it means that graphic settings, you will look a bit lower quality on your end. I mean, like, I mean, like, 80% of you guys actually, the viewership has changed already. So 80% of you guys actually watch from the computer already when I stream in the afternoon. So it's actually a bad. I mean, like, and not everyone has a 4K monitor lah. Okay, I know the trend right now is all the 4K OLED monitors. I own one, the Samsung one. The Samsung GA OLED is good. Okay, a lot of people say, matte screen. Look at the screen itself in person. The matte screen, right? Compared to a glossy screen, right? I can tell you this: the matte screen is a godsend. Glossy screen, right? If you were to play at night, right? You want to turn on the lights, right? You can't. The blacks become purple immediately, guaranteed. Because I am there, I saw it. It's garbage. The moment you turn on the light, right? The whole black become purple. Whereas the Samsung, right, and the LG that uses the matte screen, the black is still black. And the black, right, is the kind that literally the black hole kind of black paint. It's really good. Trust me on that. Okay, but just like any other expensive products, if you can take a look, go take a look. As in the physical product, go take a look at the physical product. I know for my graphics card, I cannot see the physical product because it is not in stock, so I need to depend on the reviews. But at least I have my contact, because my contact did mingle with the. What I mean by mingle, I mean, like, do a lot of heavy discussion and bargaining with the distributor. So she relayed the information to me. Okay, right. So okay, so let's do a bit of settings again. Right, let's get rid of cycle tuning. There's a lot of talking from me. Sorry about that. Let's just say I have no friends in real life. I have friends in real life, just that they already distance away from me already. So yep. So right now I'm just talking to the number of audience I have right now, you guys. No matter how many there is lah. Okay. Right. Cycle tuning is disabled. Display. We are running 120 again. Graphics, super resolution, very high. Okay, later what I'm going to do also, right, is I'm going to bring down the frame rate, right, to 60. Then we'll see what happens next. Okay, DLSS, no frame generation, no low latency, ray tracing at maximum, 120 frames per second. Here we go. Okay, oh crap. The encoding error came immediately. So cycle tuning actually helps with the encoding. Oh. Okay, right, cancel. Okay, that's not a good sign. Okay. Right, so cycle tuning actually helps with the lagging to you guys. Okay. So cycle tuning actually helps. What does look ahead do? Okay, if enabled, it will increase visual quality by determining a better bitrate distribution throughout the analysis of future frames at the cost of increased GPU utilization and latency. I very tempted to enable that. They also say that variable bitrate will be better also. Minimum bitrate is 0. Constant bitrate. Oh my gosh. I mean, like, if you guys know OBS stuff, do let me know in the chat lah. Then at least we can fix this together. It would be nice If you got any comments right that may help me, or if you guys know a channel right that features this, right, you let me know. Then of course you'll be great. You'll be great help. Because let's just say that I am a bit at a loss. Okay, okay. Before we go 15 megabytes per second, right? What I'm going to do is bump it down to 60. Okay, because 60 frames per second, you guys can only see 60 anyway. If I do 120, it just becomes a much smoother 60 frames per second. Okay, since I'm going to bump it down to 60, I can bring the super resolution back up. Apply settings. Okay, make sure it's still 60. It is 60. Okay, let's run. Oh, overloaded already? Oh, come on. No, but it looks very smooth on the screen just now. Wait. Okay, before I jump the gun. Excuse me. Before I jump the gun. Okay. Let me run it again. Okay, okay, it says encoding overload right here. Then it's gone already. Excuse me. Okay, now don't have the encoder error ready. Okay, looking at my phone right now, ensuring there is no craziness going on. The thing is that ray tracing with DLSS just looks terrible lah. No, there's no way around it. The raster is still better and also easier for YouTube as well. Excuse me again. Talk too much already. My throat is hurting. Oh, there's a frame freeze. Multiple frame freezes. Looks like RT is still too much lah. Yeah, we're going to need a drink soon. Okay. Ooh, this is not a good dip. Not good at all. Goes to show how ray tracing, how it's not only bad for gameplay, right? It is also bad for OBS. It's also bad for OBS to do live stream. So just tusk. Maybe that's why I don't. That's I mean, like, maybe that's why everyone is streaming at 1440p for gameplay lah. And I'm one of the crazy ones that actually stream at 4K. Okay lah. Okay lah. So that means no ray tracing from now on. No ray tracing. Minimum 2 frames per second. Literally nothing. Okay lah. Okay, only one way to find out that is gameplay, because motion and gameplay is two different things when it comes to 120 frames per second. Okay, one last test with Black Myth Wukong, and then we'll move on to something that has gameplay itself already. Okay, the thing is that because Dark Tide and Space Marine, right, I locked it to 60. Because I want it to be as smooth as possible. Because it is, and I don't need it to be super, and I'm not dodging things like crazy. So that's why I'm okay with 60. Black Myth Wukong on the other hand, because you need all the frames, you need to telegraph the attacks. So I will need the frames. Okay, so 60. Apply. Okay, but which is turn off. Alright. Okay, then display. We will go 120. I mean, I can put 240 lah, but then I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. Adjust the sharpness of the image. I think I just leave it at 5 lah. Hair or too sharp a little look like cute. Look like a smooth object instead. Okay, 60. Everything set to high. But we need to quit the game first, because we need to get the ray tracing out. Okay. Otherwise, bitrate is back at what it used to be, because I used to stream at 20 megabytes per second. So pretty much it's the same thing, 20 megabytes per second. I think the preset I can go quality already lah, since I am how do I put it away? Since I am not doing ray tracing anymore. 2 passes, everything else is the same as cycle tuning, which is now called adaptive quantization. Okay, settings is in. We'll do one last benchmark with a balanced preset for DLSS, which will be higher than what I used to do, because previously with the 4090 my DLSS is at ultra performance. At the same time, it's also good to see whether there will be any encoding issues or not, because the higher the quality, the higher the stuff is happening, right, it actually makes the encoding quite bad. Okay, it's at 60. Ray tracing turn off. Everything is at high. Okay, let's run. Making sure there is no warning. Yep, no warning. Okay, wonderful. Actually, wait. Actually, I kind of noticed, right, the encoder setting is still the same. Yo. So that means I need to shut down the stream and then run it again. Wow, if I need to do that, then that one quite annoying. Okay. I will do a follow-up test after this. So just imagine that I'm still running at 35 megabytes per second. Okay, never mind. The drop frames is here already. Drop frames is here already. That's early. Oh my god. Am I wrong to go to Intel? No, am I wrong for abandoning Intel? Let me take a look. Encoding overload. OBS encoding overloaded. Reducing the resolution, frame rate, or changing the encoder preset. Hardware encoding using your GPU can also offload some from the CPU. Close additional programs in the background. Free disk space. I can't free disk space. Reduce output resolution. Well, technically speaking, right, the 9800 S3D doesn't enough cores compared to the i7. Because the i7 700K actually has more cores compared to this one. Yes, more E cores and P cores combined together, whereas this one is just really just 8 cores. Wow. I mean, like, sacrifices has to be made, to be honest. I like to still stream in 4K, but the thing is that if these kids coming back, right, it's not really good. Okay, I'm going to end. What I'm going to do, right, is that I'm going to change, because this one it says hardware. So because it says it's a hardware parameter. So AB1 is a hardware. AB1 uses more hardware. So because it uses hardware and software. Okay. So what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to switch to H.264 and I'm going to bump up the bitrate. Okay. So but before I can switch to H.264, right, I will need to stop streaming. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. So yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. In a minute or two. So yeah. See ya.